Hi everyone! So I'm doing this series of self-care practices and segments because I have been a practitioner for 30 years now and I have a lot of information and valuable content to offer you all. So I'm doing it in little segments. And I've talked about so many things, so if you're interested, go back and listen to the videos from before. If you just joined the newsletter, you can go ahead and send me an email or connect with me on a discovery call and just tell me that you are interested in having more content and I will send it to you. So one of the things I want to talk about in this segment is what to do with that kind of like static energy when we notice ourselves getting out of alignment. Like, what do we do when we have a lot on our minds? And I've gone through in the other videos different herbs and supplements to use in self-care. We talked about taking a bath and Epsom salt and dry skin brushing and using essential oils and self-massage. What do we do when, say, we have like a window of an hour and we're what's called looping or obsessing on something that's very concerning for us, or we're starting to do some emotional eating. So I actually have a bag of tips right here to remind me to talk about that, because I noticed that I was doing something the other day. So this was a couple weeks ago, when the facts were just starting to come out and we were all just starting to have things closed and staying home. And I normally don't go for chips. I like sweet things, So I normally go for sweet things, but I had bought a bunch of groceries for my children and my family, and I was sitting in the car and I noticed, thank goodness I had the awareness. I opened up a bag of chips and I was doing some different things and checking my email and connecting with clients, and I just started eating chips. And the funny thing was that they didn't even taste that good. I was just kind of eating them for the sensation of eating them. And I noticed that I was doing that, and so that's the important piece right there, is that when you have that consciousness and awareness, it's a very self-soothing thing to do. It's kind of like a little baby, like sucking their thumb or having a bottle. It's just something that humans do to try to self-soothe. So even though I'm processing everything that's happening, there's still a lot in the world, and being a parent and also being a practitioner, I have a lot of responsibility and I can process a lot of that. So the important thing is not to beat ourselves up about it, to not go into like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. You can make light of it and be like, you can keep eating those chips if you want to, that's okay, like, what are you doing, And so bringing that awareness, and I had a couple, and then I was like, these actually don't really taste that good, but allowing myself to have them if I wanted to, and then I put them away, and I thought, wow, that was really funny, that was really interesting that I was doing that. And then checking in, like, I'm okay, like, whatever is going on, I'm in full love and support of myself, whatever I'm processing through. And when we move into that place, we just are able to let it go. So that's a really important piece to understand. And if you feel like that you're stuck in a place right now where you can't let it go and you can't move on, you can reach out to me on my website. So it's rachelpetkus.com. You can have a free discovery call. We can see if there's something that we want to do and working together. You can also sign up for my Wishing Well focus group. It's very affordable. Every month I send out content to help people with these kinds of things. So the important piece there is to make sure that we're always coming back to loving ourselves. So no matter what is going on, it's all part of the process. So if I was sitting in my car and I was eating a bag of chips and I was thinking, oh, this is like really awful, like that you're doing that, What happens with that is that we're putting more energy into it, and the energy starts to get bigger. And then the more that we say like, oh, don't do that, it actually puts more energy into it, and it becomes more difficult to shift that situation. So that's why it's really important to always go back to love, because love is the most powerful energy of all. So we always want to go back to love and loving ourselves. And when I had that awareness and consciousness and I made that shift, it was really easy for me to put the chips down and be like, those are yummy to a point, you know, and then I was able to move on with my day. The other thing that I want to talk about is that I have some napkins here. So this is something that I purchased a couple weeks ago when we were going through the toilet paper hoarding situation was going on. And, you know, I'm going to talk more about the energetics and spirituality of everything that's happening. When those events happen, what they are really for is for us to have the awareness of what we are choosing to do in our lives so that we can see what's out there and make a shift or make a change. So that's kind of in a nutshell what's really going on. So there will be certain events that will be presented to us, and then it's our choice how we want to show up. So, you know, there's certain things that are going on, and then how are we going to choose to show up? And one of the things that does happen in the United States is that, you know, there are people that hoard. It's a real thing. It's really out there. It's just an imbalance, like all of those imbalances that can be shifted with simply the awareness and consciousness. So it's actually a very positive thing that this has happened, because those people have the opportunity to have the consciousness and awareness of like, oh my gosh, I'm really doing this, you know. And if any of us think that we don't have the potential to do that, that is where we get awry. So that's when our ego can come in and get really tricky. So everyone, including myself, has the potential to do that. The thing that keeps us from not doing that or doing it to extreme is simply having the awareness and consciousness and moving back to love and just laughing like, oh my gosh, look what I just did, you know, and just knowing that we're human and we're all doing the best that we can. And that's all for this segment. Thank you.